My own mother and sister, the people I thought I could always count on, systematically drained my inheritance. Not for survival, but to fund a lavish wedding they didn't even bother to invite me to. The betrayal cut deeper than any knife, leaving me reeling and ready to sever ties. For years, my mom and sister had treated me like their personal ATM. I'm 38, married with 2 kids, living a life I built far from my childhood home in Houston. My upbringing was complicated. My parents divorced when I was 10, my sister 5. Dad left, accusing mom of infidelity, specifically regarding my sister's parentage. He paid for my education, but not hers, which only fueled the rumors. He wasn't around much, but when I reached high school, I sought him out, and we formed an incredible bond, a bond mom resented deeply. Last year, we lost Dad to a terminal illness. His passing hit me hard, but what came next shattered any illusion of family harmony. He named me his sole heir, leaving me a $400,000 trust fund. He'd always said I was his only daughter. This inheritance, on top of him funding my education through better schools and colleges, solidified mom and my sister's coldness towards me. I wouldn't say they were evil, just distant. They were a unit, and I was just there. But I was smart, clever, not a doormat. Maybe that's why they never outright mistreated me. Now, that $400,000 was a magnet for them. Ever since they found out, it's been one request after another. I always helped. They didn't make much, mom a supermarket cashier, my sister in boutique sales. They earned less than half of what I did, and even though our emotional connection was thin, I felt an obligation. They were family. A couple of months ago, mom called. Her house, the house Dad left us, was falling apart. Crumbling walls, damaged ceilings, ancient wiring. She said it was unsafe, impossible to live in during bad weather. She'd tried the bank, but the interest was too high. It was an awkward dance, she hinted, I knew, but neither of us spoke the words. I started ignoring her calls, but they kept coming, more frequently than ever. When I finally picked up, she was upfront. She needed $100,000 for renovations, promising to pay me back in installments. My mind reeled. I don't have that much, I told her, despite her thinly veiled reference to the inheritance. Furious, I quickly offered a maximum of $50,000, just to end the conversation. She agreed. Later, I kicked myself. $50,000. I was so impulsive. My husband, ever the voice of reason, suggested I disperse it in installments, monitoring the progress. I activated an old, inactive bank account, transferred $10,000, and gave her access. She asked why not directly to her, and I mumbled some lame excuse. Honestly, I didn't have much hope of getting it back. Then came the update, and the betrayal became clear. 2 months in, I'd already sent $20,000. And not another penny would leave my pocket. I knew they were nice for my money, but I never imagined this level of deceit. I found out my sister was getting married, not from her, or my mom, but from a school friend whose husband was a wedding planner. My sister was using his agency to plan her grand wedding. A wedding worth $50,000. It tore me apart that I wasn't even informed, let alone invited. 100 guests, the best venue, unlimited food, top-notch decor. Where was this money coming from? My heart pounded as I checked the bank account where I'd been sending the renovation money. It was empty. I called Mom. Has the renovation started? Oh yes, dear, the company's hired, work will begin soon. The lies were sickening. I wanted to fly to Houston and see for myself, but my husband calmed me. Instead, I called my aunt, my dad's sister, who lives nearby. She confirmed the wedding news, and she hadn't been invited either. Then came the bombshell. Oh, and the house looks amazing. Sparkling with new paint. They must have done it up quickly for the in-laws' visit. My blood ran cold. The sheer audacity, the intricate web of lies they had spun, it was breathtakingly cruel. All this time, they'd been parading as struggling, yet my aunt was telling me a completely different story. The house my dad had left us, now renovated with money they swindled from me. A dizzying realization, a punch to the gut. If you're finding yourself as shocked as I was, please hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what happened next, and trust me, there are more unbelievable tales coming. Then I remembered. 6 months prior, Mom had asked for $20,000 for a knee transplant. I called her, feigning interest for a friend needing a referral. She fumbled, stammered, couldn't remember the doctor or hospital. Then she pretended to have a network issue and hung up. When I called back, her phone was off, then unanswered. She left my texts unread for days. It was all a lie. The transplant money went to the house renovation, and the renovation money was funding my sister's fairy tale wedding. My aunt even mentioned my sister's engagement party, held on the front lawn, overflowing with lilies and wine. I felt like I'd been living under a rock, while they lived a lavish lie, sucking money from me under false pretenses. I ghosted them. No more money. No more calls. No more texts. My sister, who had never called me in years, started calling. I ignored her too. I was done with their lies and manipulation. My income, my father's inheritance, none of it gave them the right to leech off me. I swore I would ruin my mother's princess's big day. My husband, bless his heart, almost ruined my plan. Mom called him, crying crocodile tears about me ghosting them, about the renovation being midway. My husband, unable to keep a secret, blurted out everything. He told her I knew about the wedding, about the knee transplant lie. I wanted to throttle him. I wanted them to suffer, to scramble. Instead, my mom bombarded me with apologies, claiming misunderstanding, saying she'd loaned money for the house and was just repaying it with mine. More BS. Finally, I agreed to talk, but only if she promised the truth. And she did. She confessed it was my sister's idea to ask for money under the guise of renovations. They knew I hadn't visited Houston in years, knew I wasn't in touch with anyone. My sister didn't want to take a favor directly from me. Wow. Then I hit her with the knee transplant. She went silent. Caught. She admitted the house was crumbling, in-laws were visiting, and in a panic, she'd invented the surgery for quick cash. I stood strong on the call, but inside, I was crumbling. My own mother, duping me for her own good. My heart ached. I understood their money problems, but that didn't justify manipulation. I hung up and cried for hours, missing my dad more than anything. He truly loved me. 2 days later, a voicemail from Mom, now that you know, can you please send the remaining amount so we can continue with the wedding preps? No remorse. Just entitlement. They hadn't even invited me, not even for show. I blocked them both. I threatened my husband with the porch if he dared entertain their calls again. My aunt kept me updated. The wedding was next month. My mom and sister were struggling to pull it off. Good. The calls and voicemails continued right up to the wedding day, begging for money. I stood firm. The last voicemail from Mom was searing. She was ashamed of me, disowning me, telling me never to call her mom or visit again. I broke down, crying in front of my husband. I knew some would call me evil, arrogant, self-centered for ruining my sister's wedding. But she had lied, deceived, and used me. I was their money machine, not their family. On the wedding day, my friend called again. The wedding was likely cancelled. My sister hadn't paid the next installment. They'd only paid $20,000, barely enough for the high-end venue my sister insisted on. A decent wedding could be done for $20,000, my friend said, but not the top-notch decorations and unlimited food my sister demanded. A wave of guilt washed over me. For a moment, I considered transferring the remaining money. But then Mom's voicemail echoed, disowning me. What was the point? My actions were a reaction to their malicious triggers. I switched off my phone and took my kids out. The next day, my friend called, furious. The wedding had been a disaster. My mom and sister had pleaded with her husband, the wedding planner, to arrange something basic, promising an extra $10,000. He somehow pulled together decent food and decor, but the guests and the groom's family tore the arrangements apart. My sister, with unbelievable audacity, blamed him, the planner. My friend said her husband was livid, but my mom begged him not to spoil her daughter's life. He, a good man, took the blame. And they never paid the promised $10,000. I was mortified, standing there in silence, embarrassed for my family. My friend wasn't blaming me, just venting. My husband, ever practical, said they got what they deserved. They brought it upon themselves, trying to impress everyone with false means. He was right. My mother's disowning felt like a blessing in disguise. I no longer had to deal with their lies, their manipulation. The constant emotional blackmail was over. Now for the next story. My husband confessed his love for my sister. It wasn't a quiet whisper, it was a drunken, passionate declaration that shattered my world, making me question every touch, every kiss, every single moment we'd ever shared. Yesterday, after dinner with my sister and her husband, we all had a lot to drink. Later, after they left, my husband and I were intimate. It was amazing, passionate, loving. We kept drinking wine, listening to music. He was in a great mood, smiling like he always does when he's drunk. We were talking about my sister and her husband when, out of nowhere, he just said, "I'm so in love with sister's name." My breath hitched. "What?" I asked, my heart suddenly pounding. He repeated, "I'm so desperately in love with sister's name. What I would do to taste her lips. She is brilliant." He looked dreamy, that smile still on his face. I asked how drunk he was. "Probably plenty," he slurred. I was drunk too, but it hit me like a ton of bricks. I sat in stunned silence while he remained lost in his own world, a million miles away. I went to bed, but sleep wouldn't come. This morning, sober, the memories came rushing back, hitting me even harder. I'm horrified. My heart is in pieces. He's acting completely normal, maybe a little hungover. He hasn't mentioned a thing. Our relationship with my sister has always been good, built on mutual respect. Should I just ignore his drunken comments? Was it just the alcohol talking? Or are drunk words sober thoughts? What about the sex we had? Something felt different, more passionate, more tender. He kept saying, "I love you, you are brilliant." Was he thinking of her? My sister, once modest and tomboyish, has transformed. She lost 25 kilograms, worked out for a year. Last night, she wore a form-fitting red dress, red lips, and looked absolutely stunning. We all complimented her, and she was so happy. I don't know why I'm adding this, but it feels relevant. I'm torn. They say alcohol lowers inhibitions, reveals true feelings, but it also clouds judgment. Can alcohol alone make a husband confess such a deep, desperate love for his wife's sister? My biggest fear is that even if he denies it, I'll never be able to unhear those words. How can I ever feel comfortable with them in the same room again? This isn't sustainable for a marriage. This wasn't just a drunken slip, it felt like a window into a hidden truth that had been festering beneath the surface for years. If you're reeling from this as much as I was, consider subscribing. I've got more raw, honest stories to share, and your support means the world. Some say it was just lust, that lust and love can get muddled when inhibitions are lowered. But he didn't just say he liked her, or found her attractive. He used the word desperately. This isn't just silly drunken words. This felt like an articulate thought, a profound feeling, that came out because his guard was down. I had to confront him. He woke up, still acting normal. I asked him if he remembered anything after my sister and her husband left. He said he didn't remember much. Then I told him what he said. He didn't look shocked or surprised, just said he didn't remember saying it. I pushed, "Have you ever felt that before we started drinking?" He admitted he'd always loved my sister because she is kind and warm. Then he added that he thought she looked very beautiful last night, and probably his drunken self thought she was hot. He said it was normal to be curious about the opposite sex, that all my family is good-looking, and her weight loss gave her confidence, and he was happy for her. I asked him, bluntly, if he could choose between us, if he just met us and I wasn't his wife, and she wasn't married. He was shocked, said it was getting ridiculous, that he hated hypothetical games because people get worked up and fight about things that aren't really. After dinner, he just reiterated that he loved me very much, he was happy, and I shouldn't overthink what he said when he was too drunk to even know who or where he was. But I couldn't stop thinking. My brain kept replaying his words, every interaction between them. Was he truly happy with me, or was I just the next best thing, a way to maintain access to her? I obsess over every mention of her. He's always happy talking about her, or to her. Is he the same about me? Or am I just imagining things now? He finally admitted it. He's been in love with her for years, feelings that went and came throughout the years. He says he never acted on them, never will, that he loves me and our life together. We are starting counseling, and from now on, when I hang out with my sister, he won't be there. We are setting boundaries. But how do you unhear something like that? How do you rebuild trust when a shadow of what if now looms over every tender moment? I'm trying to navigate this, piece by agonizing piece. What do you believe, are drunk words truly sober thoughts? Could you ever move past something like this with your partner? I'm desperate to hear your thoughts in the comments below.